Good evening, all of you. At the outset, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be speaking to all this August gathering, and I must thank the previous speaker who has allowed me to speak. Instead of he had to be plastic surgery, he had to be speaking, but unfortunately I have an emergency in the hospital, I have a call, so I requested, and thank you for obliging. Now, we have been talking about aging and problems, and now I concentrate on aging women, because I am a gynecologist. And now whenever you say you just get a routine checkup because you are aging, the first reaction is, why at this age? I finished going to a doctor with my last delivery. After that, I have never seen a gynecologist. Why should I go to the doctor? That's the first reaction I'll have. I attained menopause also. Still, do you think that I need to go for the cancer screening? That's a question always we get from Our Lady folk. That's a cancer screening. Is it necessary at all? Let's see in the next few minutes. A lot of uncertainties exist in the cancer screening in elderly women. Not only uncertainties for the public, but even among the doctors we have these uncertainties. Do we need really to screen them? Why should we trouble them? If we have to screen them, how long they have to be getting screened like this? And how often we have to screen them? And what is the best test to screen them? These are all the questions we have in the minds of the gynecologist as well as the women who need to undergo this screening. I suppose what we mean by screening the word is, when you are all right, there is no disease in you, just get one checkup done to see that everything is all right with you. That is what is called screening. And this is now, I think all of you know that there is something called executive checkup. In every hospital, they'll give you packages to executive checkups wherein you go once in a year and get checked up all the things and the couple of blood tests and everything they see, and ECG, everything, and they say you're perfectly all right or you're diagnosed something else. That's what exactly we mean by screening. Before we screen, what are the factors we have to consider? The risk of the cancer death. The moment you say you get a cancer screening, am I going to get a cancer? Am I going to die with that? That's the first question which comes up with all these women. And then the benefits and adverse screening effects, these are, especially at 70, 80, when they come, this executive checkup, they'll say, just get a pap smear done. And to get that lady onto the couch, to make her lie down, to put her position itself is a problem. And you do any small procedure on them, it will be very painful for them at that age. So whether we really have the benefit of doing this, giving so much of pain to her, we have to think before contemplating to do this screening for them. The individual patient values and preferences, we have to honor them. And then there's one thing we have to remember, no benefit from screening for women if the life expectancy is short for them. There's no point diagnosing a cancer in her whether she's already have a major problem and she's not going to give long. So there's no point saying that, oh, you have a cancer, you have to get a treatment, or terrifying her mental torture for them to give is not ideal. What are the cancers we need to screen at this age, say 60 and above? The breast cancer, as it already been told by Dr. Gopinath, breast cancer is increasing with the age. And so also the cervical cancer in our country. The ovarian and endometrial cancers is all over the world. There is no definite screening modality for that. And so we also don't screen them routinely, except the woman is very high risk for that. And vulval and vaginal cancers we are not doing because they are luckily rare diseases. Now the cervical cancer screening is the first cancer among women cancers in India. Though they said in the urban areas it's the second, but there's the first cancer among the rural Indian population. And unfortunately, long time back, WHO has declared this as a preventable sexually transmitted disease. It's totally preventable disease, but the highest mortality and highest cases we do see in India because lack of awareness. And then there's a secondary peak. See, it can happen. There's a bimodal. This disease has got bimodality. That means it occurs at the 30, 40 years, one peak. And again at 60, 70s, it can happen. So once you pass off the age of 40 or 50, we should not think that, okay, I don't get this cancer because I don't have the virus which causes this cancer. This is one of the cancers which is caused purely by a viral infection. So we should not be complacent saying that we may not get this cancer. Despite increasing age, these women should undergo training. And what is the protocol for screening? At what, up to what age? How frequently? All those questions will come. Exactly, there's no consensus about how long we have to screen or up to what age we have to screen them. Each one has got different ways of means to talk about. In India, if you take, ICMR says 64 years, up to 64 years, a woman has to get the screening. And National Cancer Control Program says up to 60, she has to get a screening. And America, it says 70 years, and the US Preventive Task Force says 65 years. That means you know how different it is. That means there is no consensus. The frequency of screening, they used to say that annually a woman has to screen, but it will be too difficult for a woman at that age to go for annual screening. Now it will settle with once in 3 years screening is adequate for the woman at that age. If the woman doesn't have a screening done, most of the women, if you think, and please, for yourselves you answer whether we have gone once for a pap test and a screening. How many women in this auditorium would have gone for that? I'm sure none. Okay, the concept is not there with us. The awareness is very, very poor with us. Nobody would have gone. If such is the case, the women have to get a screening up to 70, 75. If they had a regular screening, probably it's wise to stop it at 60 for them. Now, many of them at that age would have got a hysterectomy done for various other reasons. If it is for the benign reason, they would have got a hysterectomy done. They don't need to go for screening. That's one bit of good news for us. But if they had a malignancy, lifelong, as far as they can go to a doctor and get a screening done, they need to get the screening done. We have a lot of methods to screen them, but the gold standard is what is called a pap test, as a pap smear, or a cervical cytology. That is the main thing, which I think that's an ideal thing for this woman at this age. But here the compliance is very poor. They have to lie down, they have to get examined, and then they have to get the smear done. This is due to various reasons, maybe mostly the cultural background, and the women don't want, and our women are not sexually active at that age, so they wouldn't like even an examination because it will be very painful for them, and they think that it's a sort of insult for them and they feel guilty. That's what we every day face. So only the counseling will help them, and making them understand that if they just remain like that, they may come up with an advanced stage of cancer, which happens every day. We see that. Then probably they may agree to undergo the screening. Now, a lot of technical difficulties in this woman to screen also. It's not very easy. Even when you take the cervix would have been very narrow and it would have been atrophic. To reach it is difficult, and we also need a little bit of experience among ourselves to deal with these women. This is the way a pap test is done, a simple test. But even then, we have some problem even in reporting this pap test. It's not very easy, a postmenopausal smear, to be read because a lot of fallacies, high false positivity can be done. Again, we need a very experienced cytologist for that. The limited data about the HPV virus screening, that is the in thing now, whether the virus is there so that virus can cause a disease in us. And we have a vaccine for this for the youngsters, young girls, and a lot of debate goes on. But as far as elderly women are concerned, this is not the choice for them. Of course, not just a visual inspection we do in the villages. We go and we do just a visual inspection with an acetic acid and say whether they harbor the disease or not. It's a simple, cost-effective test where there's not much of money involved and no cytologists are involved. But that's not for the old woman because there's a lot of physical changes in the body. This doesn't suit them. So coming to that, screening is necessary in postmenopausal women because you reached menopause, it's not the end of it, then starts the problems. So they have to get cervical cancer screening. As far as the breast cancer is concerned, now it is, as already said by the previous speakers, it's a disease of age. I had one woman at 80 years. She was brought by her son. And when I saw her, I was horrid to see a fungating big growth on her breast. When I asked her, Mommy, why you have not come all these days? She said, it was not painful. Second thing, how do I tell my son that I have some problem like this and go? This is the main barrier for us, believe me, in rural India as well as in urban. They don't have, I don't know, they have the daughter-in-laws who don't listen to them, or they cannot tell their sons Most of them, they don't have husbands, or husbands won't listen to them, and they just suffer with the disease to the extent that when it becomes impossible for them to bear anymore, they will somehow tell them to bring them to the hospital, and they come. There's a routine as far as cervical cancer is concerned. And even urban in Bangalore, this was the lady, 2 years she was holding with the cancer breast, a huge lump. Because this is all because of the lack of awareness. Only thing what we have to create is awareness. No age is bar for the cancers. Every woman need to get the screening done once in lifetime at least. Incidence is increasing. In a old woman it is more, and say 50% of all new diagnosed cases are in elderly women, and it contributes to 60% of the breast cancer deaths are in women of 60 years. And this is the prediction by the CDC. And as the age increases, see how the cancer prevalence or a burden increases in them. The barriers for screening, as I have already told you, main thing is lack of awareness. How many of you know that, yes, a woman at 60s also has to go and get a cancer screening done? Even men and women. The awareness is not there. Next question comes is the cost. As it has been spoken from morning, finance, economics. Now at this age of retirement age, the cost is the major problem again. Coming from far away to a doctor, somewhere to the doctors, is another problem, and loss of mobility. So independently,
Dr. Sundari, you have
go.
2 minutes more.
Okay, madam, thank you. And this is the recommendation, 50 years and above, once in 2 years, they have to get a screening done, and up to 74 years, they must get the screening. Now, of all the methods, self-examination of the breast, clinical breast examination, sonomammography, mammography and MRI, the best method for these women is mammography. The sonomammography may be a complementary, but that means ultrasound. As all of you know, it's ultrasound. But they have to go what is called mammography. It's a painful, it's little costlier. That's why mammography has not become popular among elderly again in our country. So something has to be done. Government has to take some steps to see that it's available at a feasible cost to all these women so that they can get the screening done. MRI, we don't talk about it unless they are very high risk women, wherein they need to get MRI along with mammography. Now, endometrial and ovarian cancers, as already said, only high-risk women we will screen, otherwise routinely we are not going to screen. And I don't have time to say who are all the high-risk women. So definitely postmenopausal women are susceptible to cervical and breast cancers. Despite the increasing age, these women should not be disregarded, and they need appropriate screening for these cancers so that we could prevent or diagnose early so that the misery will be lessened in them. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you, Dr. Sundari. I think I'll allow questions at the end of the session, please, because we are running out of time. And how Dr. Sundari has explained to you the relevance and importance of screening, irrespective of the age. Annual screening could be a better preventive measure than getting into the cure aspect. The prevention detail is really the right way of going about, because knowing that one is healthy is the biggest boon that one can ever think of and enjoy a healthy life, rather than having that worry at the back of the mind that I must be harboring something and then going about it and then land up into the problem for the curative processes which may follow in. So thank you for the lucid presentation, Dr. Sundari.
We'd like to thank Dr. Sundari once again. Let's give her a huge round of applause. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.